do me a favor, and do everybody in the hobby a favor, and do the future of the hobby a favor, and stop talking about these games like they are video games. In a video game, if you choose a fighter, that's a build, and there's only so many ways to play that fighter. But in a tabletop role-playing game, you could play 10 fighters in a row that use the same weapons, and each of them will be vastly different from the other. Where do we find the difference? What makes each one of those 10 fighters different from each other, even though they're just fighters using the same weapons? In a tabletop role-playing game, the way you separate those characters and make them different is through who they are, not what they are. If you focus on what they do and what they work with, of course you see the similarity. But if a core focus is more on who the character is and less about what they are, well, that's something you really can't explore in a video game, but you can in a TTRPG. That is what separates one character from another. So if you ever play a TTRPG and don't develop these things, and you look at it like a video game and keep saying, oh, I don't want to do this build over again, like you use language that is video game language, you'll degrade what we're doing, and you might as well go back to WoW, like go back to Final Fantasy, whatever you're doing. I don't see the point in wasting your time, because it takes time to do this, and coming here and trying to do the video game thing where you don't seem to care about things. Like you talk about everything like, oh yeah, this build, blah, blah, blah. That's not how we talk, or at least that's not how we've talked for decades in the past about this hobby. We understand that we are more advanced than what they're giving out in video games. And so we don't want to degrade our game back to what a video game is. That's all. So if you want, play 10 fighters in a row. But if you want a unique experience that is different from one fighter to the next, focus on developing the character and who they are so you can have a different experience with each fighter that you're playing. Who says they're going to make the same decision, at the same question? It depends on who they are. That fighter might have said no because of who they are, but this fighter over here might say yes to doing that action because of who they are. They're different from the other person personality-wise. And that is something that you get to bring to a tabletop role-playing game that you can't just bring to an MMO. So let's not degrade what we do back to the video game. They're trying to copy us because we're ahead of them. Let's not go backwards. Or maybe we make up some cheap TTRPG club where people acknowledge they have a cheap approach to this whole thing. They talk about magic like it's a joke. They don't care about, the unique races. They don't care about building up who a character is. They're here to play a game. It's fine. They can do their thing. I would just rather them not to try to do their thing with our thing, because they're taking our thing and warping it in a way that's not good. It's not positive. There's nothing good. You're degrading it. So how about you just keep that madness, but don't bring it to the overall hobby. Have a respect for what this hobby is. Have a respect for the game. And if you don't, in my opinion, get to moving. Like, get out of here. We don't want you. Anyway, for now, take care.